Hello, children. Good morning. I welcome you to science class. How are you? I hope all are fine. Have you done your homework? What was your homework? What did I give? Yes, I gave 3 questions for you. First question, what is meant by marsh? Second question, what types of plants grow in marshy region? Last one, mention any 2 adaptations of these plants. What is meant by marsh? A marsh is an area of land where water covers the ground for long periods of time. Everyone repeat it. A marsh is an area of land where water covers the ground for long periods of time. Good. What is your second question? What types of plants grow in marshy regions? Your answer is grass and deciduous trees. I already told you, you change the answer from herbaceous into deciduous. Deciduous is the correct answer. What is the meaning of deciduous? Deciduous trees lose their leaves in the autumn every year. Deciduous trees lose their leaves in the autumn every year. Next, the last question. Mention any 2 adaptations in these regions. So, first adaptation, they have well developed root systems for deal with high salt content in the water that surrounds them. So, what is the first one? They have well developed root systems to deal with high salt content in the water. Second adaptation, they have aerial roots. They can absorb the gases directly from air. So they are called breathing roots. So what is the second adaptation? They have aerial roots which can absorb the gases directly from air. So they are called breathing roots. Okay, children, I hope all are done your homework well. Okay, shall we learn a new topic? Here you are seeing a pond. Look at the pond. What do you see in the pond? You can see some plants in the pond, isn't it? We already learned that different plants have different adaptations to survive in different environment. In pond, we can see different plants. Let's see how do they survive in water. The plants that live in water, which may be salt water or fresh water, are called aquatic plants. So, what are called aquatic plants? The plants that live in water are called aquatic plants. These aquatic plants are also called hydrophytes. So, in this word hydrophytes, hydro means water, phytes means plants. Everyone repeat the spell. Hydro, hydro, phytes, hydrophytes. So hydrophytes means aquatic plants. There are 2 types of aquatic plants. First one, submerged plants. Second one, floating plants. So what are the 2 types of aquatic plants? Submerged plants and floating plants. Good. What is the meaning of submerged and floating? Let's see the activity. Here I take one sponge. Now I am going to put the sponge in water. Look at this. What will happen to the sponge? The sponge is floating on the water. Can you see that? It's floating. Now I take one iron ball and put it on the water. Tell me what will happen to that ball? It will submerged in the water. So sponge, it is floating on the water. That iron ball, it is submerged in the water. It is floating. Okay, we have seen there are two types of aquatic plants. Those are submerged plants and floating plants. First, we will see about submerged plants in detail. In the activity, we have learned that submerged plants grow and live entirely underwater. Have you seen plants underwater? What are the plants that grow underwater? Example, seagrass. Here you are seeing seagrass. Plants should have different adaptation to survive underwater. Let's see what are the adaptations the plants have underwater. First adaptation, they have tiny air sacs. Air sacs means it's nothing that air space in their leaves and stems that help in keeping the plant grow upright in the water. So what is the first adaptation? Children, note it down. They have tiny air sacs which help in keeping the plant grow upright. Okay, second adaptation. Water, sunlight and air are the basic necessities of plants. Then how do they get their basic necessities underwater? Submerged plants are able to absorb water, nutrients and dissolved gases directly from the surrounding water. So, submerged plants are able to absorb water, nutrients and dissolved gases directly from the surrounding water. Third adaptation, flexible stem. Here I have one model of seagrass moving in the water. They have light and flexible stem. These stems help the plants to survive in the strong water flow. Suppose if they don't have flexible stems, they will break when strong water flow. So what is the third adaptation? They have soft and flexible stems. Look at this model of a plant in this video. This is pondweed. Can you see it has soft and flexible stem? So only they can survive in the strong water currents. So children, what did we learn in submerged plant adaptations? First one, they have tiny air sacs which help in keeping the plants grow upright in the water. Second one, submerged plants are able to absorb water, nutrients and dissolved gases directly from the surrounding water. The last one, they have light and soft flexible stem. These stems help the plants to survive in the strong water flow. Next, let's see about floating plants. There are two types of floating plants. First one, rooted with floating leaves. Example, water lily. Second one, not rooted but float on the surface of the water. Example, duckweed. So, rooted with floating leaves. That means the roots of a plant is fixed in a soil. Second one, not rooted but just float on the surface. That means the roots do not fix in the soil. So, what are the two types of floating plants? Rooted with floating leaves. Second one, not rooted but float on the surface. Okay, let's see about adaptations. First adaptation, the leaves are very tough because they have to withstand the weather and water movement. So what is the first adaptation? The leaves are very tough. Okay, second adaptation. When we learn swimming for the first time, we will be taught using air tubes. Why do we use that air tubes? Because that air tubes help us to prevent from drowning. So like that the plants have well developed air chambers called lacunae which help them to float in water. So what is the second adaptation? They have air chambers called lacunae. So lacunae help them to float in water. Okay, next to see about next adaptation. How do plants breathe? We already learned plants breathe through stomata. Usually, stomata present at the lower side of the leaf. But in aquatic plants, stomata present at the upper side of the leaf. So they can breathe easily. This is also one of the adaptations. Okay, last adaptation. If we keep a leaf on water for 2 days, it will be spoiled. But the leaves of aquatic plants are always in the water. But they are not spoiled. How is it possible? Let's see in detail. Look at this video. The upper surface of the leaves of aquatic plants has a thick waxy coating. That's why we can see the water droplets on the leaf. But it doesn't get wet. Can you see this? It doesn't get wet. It also helps to keep the stomata open and clear. Okay children, what are the adaptations in floating plants? What did we learn? First one, they have tough leaf to withstand the weather and water movement. Second one, lacunae. They have lacunae. Lacunae means air chambers which help them to float in water. Third one, the stomata present on the upper side of the leaf. Then last one, the leaves have a waxy coating. So it doesn't get spoiled. So children, if you have your book, take the page number 36. That aquatic habitat. Aquatic plants are plants that have adapted to living in aquatic environments. Maybe that is salt water or fresh water. They are also known as hydrophytes. These hydrophytes words, that's a Greek word. That hydro means water. So use pencil for underline. So hydro means water. Aquatic plants have plenty of water around them. Their main challenge is getting enough sunlight and water. So there are two types of aquatic plants, submerged plants, next floating plants. Submerged plants have stems and leaves that grow entirely underwater. Example, seagrass. That seagrasses have tiny air sacs in their leaves and stems that help them keeping the plant upright in the water. Submerged plants are able to absorb water, nutrition and dissolved gases directly from the surrounding air. Next adaptation, the flexible and light underwater stems help the plant to survive in strong water currents. Example, pondweed. I showed that video. Then floating plants. Floating plants are two types. There are two types of floating plants. Those which are rooted with floating leaves. For example, water lily. And those which are not rooted but just float on the surface. Example, duckweed. So there are two types of floating plants. First one, not rooted. Second one, not rooted. So what are the adaptations they have? Let's see. Floating leaves are generally tough. I told you that's a tough leaf. because they have to withstand the weather and water movement. They often have well developed air chambers called lacunae. Underline this word lacunae, Lacunae, lacunae. Lacunae means that's the air chamber which help them float in water. So these lacunae help them float in water. Then last one, stomata are found only on the upper surface of the leaf. Usually stomata present at the lower side of the leaf, but in floating plants they present at the upper surface of the leaf. This upper surface often has a thick waxy coating to run off water and help keep the stomata open and clear, because of that water always clear the stomata, so it is open and clear. So here you have one yellow box. So complete it. Seagrass is an example of floating or submerged aquatic plant. Submerged. So everyone write this one, submerged. Have you understood, children? Okay. Take your rough note and note down your homework. First one, stomata are present on the upper side of the leaves of floating aquatic plants. Why? Write the answer in your rough note. Thank you, children.